like obviously some direct references to your own artworks in the past and your own life. I have to imagine, and I remember you saying, and I think it was one of your TED Talks, that there's something beautiful in truth telling. And I'm just wondering to start, what kind of beauty did you feel or sense in getting to express your truth in this project and in this medium?
What was beautiful was actually watching people embody the words on the page. In many cases, they were things that I had experienced, but because I wasn't watching myself experience it, right? Because I wasn't having an out-of-body experience when the thing occurred, my reaction was very different. I'll give you an example. So that scene upstairs in the gallery where LaRon and Terrell are engaged with one another, that scene didn't happen at the gallery. That happened in real life at my studio. And I remember finishing that situation and being like, trying to shake it off and be like, whatever, I gotta get back to work. But when I watched André Holland perform that scene, it wasn't acting. He was doing something far more spiritual in that moment. It felt like manifesting. And I watched him say the words that I said and go through what I went through, and it just absolutely broke me. I literally had to leave the set, lock myself in a dark room, lay on the floor and cry for 30 minutes. I could not pull it together. I was able to find compassion for myself and my experience through watching somebody else experience it.
One of the things he said early on was that he wanted to make sure that while a lot of the story is autobiographical, that we were creating a work of fiction. And that felt important to me too, you know, to put some distance between his life and the life of the character Terrell. And yet I found that like in doing it and in uncovering some of this vulnerability, we had a lot in common, I'll say that. And I think it's fair to say that we all, the three of us, the two of us and Titus, had a lot in common and ended up having some pretty intense conversations around our own fathers and the relationships with our dads that, you know, only because we were telling this story, we were able to talk about. And so I think that's one of the things that art can do, right? It's like we go through the thing, the actor goes through the thing so that the audience doesn't have to, but by them witnessing it, it opens up opportunities in their own lives to have a different, you know, to find transformation, to find healing.
I totally agree with that. That was well said. So nothing else I could truly say to that other than it was so much truth in it. And he wanted us to tell the truth, and we did that. I wanted to make sure that they were separate, that you got a chance to see LaRon back when, and you got a chance to see LaRon in present. And for me, the best way I could have done that is to say, okay, I'm gonna live inside of this body, inside of this spirit, while I'm saying these lines, and I'm gonna be right here in present. I'm not gonna think about this other LaRon. And then once I got over to this LaRon, I decided I'm gonna stay over here. It's like changing lanes, right? And just stay in that lane no matter how fast it's going. And believe me, it went fast. Sometimes the lanes was like shifting in the same day. So yeah, I decided that's what I was gonna do, and that way I can just stay focused, because it was just a beautifully written story. So if I just stayed in the truth of these two guys, I feel I couldn't do too bad.
As artists, we're not a painter, or I am not a singer, or I am not an actress, or I am not. I think that we're artists, which inherently makes us vessels. That means and so sometimes, as I learned with Titus in this process, he's used to painting and getting things out on canvas, and that's how he's able to work through his issues. But it turns out for him personally, that was not enough in order to work out the issues with his father. And so it was amazing to see him blend painting and cinema and music together, because he needed that medium in order to work through this sort of gargantuan thing in him. And so I think that it was a great reminder that, like, yeah, as artists, we need to be careful about being so rigid about what it is that we do, because in a certain season, you might be called to do something completely different. You know?